Hey everyone, RedRaider here to show you my Red Arc Nova Assassin build. This build is really fun, really mobile, and a really great melee build, so I hope you like it. Alright everyone, as you can see here, this is my Assassin. I'm going to go ahead and take you into the character sheet here. In our attributes, you can see that we are all the way for Bloodlust. And any more into Bloodlust that you can get is optimal. For our perks, we are going to combine Fluid Nature with Fluid Attack Strategy and Hazard Simulation. Now, Fluid Nature gives us plus 20 to dodge during movement and a negative 10 penalty for standing still for longer than 3 seconds. So the object here is to not stand still at all and always be moving. Right here we have Fluid Attack Strategy, which gives us plus 50% melee damage for 5 seconds after performing a dodge. Now we are actually going to stack this with another set of skills in our skill tree that we will show you in a moment. Lastly, here we have Hazard Simulation. It gives you plus 2 to Adrenaline for each incoming attack that deals damage to the character. Only plus 1 if the incoming attack is stopped by a dodge. I'm going to take you over here to our inventory where we will show you our layout. We are using an arc sword right now. We are always going to look for plus HP on hit, crit strength, and plus to vulnerabilities, or all damage is fine as well. Plus 20% chance to deal double damage and heal that amount is also a very crucial skill. You want a lot of life per hit and life per kill, especially for this dealing double the damage and healing that amount. Inoculator is another important role that you need to pay attention to. Medium and elite kills have a 15% chance to drop a supply pack. Now we are using this in combination with digital weapons, and with this we can pretty much keep a digital weapons uptime for about 70 to 80% of the match. If the drop rates go our way, if RNG treats us right. And right here on our digi weapons, again, you have HP per kill, HP per second, and 19% to vulnerability effects. Our Fabricator Distortion Armor right here has a 10% trigger to Fabricator Scatter Field, which is very important for a melee character as well. These stats right here weren't so much important to me. I didn't mind. But they were pretty crap, but you could always reroll these for more crit chance, crit strength, and vulnerability percentages. Also here, for our backups to our arc sword, we are running 2 null rods. Each killing blow heals an amount equal to the damage dealt. We have that same stat for both. Nothing but suppression resistance per hit, suppression resistance per kill, crit strengths, HP per hit, melee damage, and suppression resistance per hit for those rolls. Going over here to the skill tree now. The important ones to hit on here are the Bloodthirst. All melee kills restore 50% or plus 50 HP, not 50%, but plus 50. Battle Dance dodge moves grant a plus 20% damage for 30 seconds or 3 seconds, excuse me. Now, this Battle Dance right here is also what we pair with our Fluid Attack Strategy, where each dodge movement that we do, we get a plus 50% damage to melee. So these two actually do proc together, getting a plus 70% damage to melee, or plus 50 to melee, plus 20 to damage in general. So that's very important to keep aware of. The last skill here that is really important is the Expose Weakness. Critical hits in melee provide a plus 1 stacking vulnerability to the target. The vulnerability type is based on the melee skill. Okay, so that's always going to be heat. That's going to take us down here to the heat tree. There are some skills in here that are not worth because they are geared more towards heat weapons, and that is Consecrated Capacitors and Anti-Splatter Nozzle. The rest of these are all pretty important as they help critical hits deal heat vulnerabilities, as that will stack down here in our debuff tree. Now, right here, this demoralized. Targets suffer a 3% extra damage penalty for every point of stacked vulnerability bestowed upon. So if we are constantly stacking vulnerability with crits, which we will deal a lot of due to our digi-weapons, having a critical tree, right? With the only 3 skills you won't need here is Red Thirst, Revenge, and Increased Crit Strength, this last node right here. The really important one is Berserker Rage. Every crit dealt heals character for 1 HP. And then lastly, down here, we've got 4 points for Field Surgery, and then all the way up to Synaptic Rewiring on our movement tree to get our Cerebral Feedback and our Synaptic Rewiring. Now, this right here is giving us a lot of cooldown on all of our skills, especially our Fabricator Distortion Armor. Our criticals right here are giving us vulnerability and damage stacks upon our enemies, and also healing us as well. Here to show you our inoculators, we are doing a Frenzon boost to critical hit chance by 10% and critical hit strength by plus 40. This green booster is just an extract boost. Our red is a blood bomb, and this extra one is a hold fast, bolstering our Frenzon boost. And to pop in here real quick, just to let you know, we are going to be farming this on the very first Warzone on Battle 36. That is going to give us an even 400 Warzone experience and 8 favor. It is going to be a negative 77% damage dealt and a plus 175% damage suffered. Now with this build, you can push farther than that. I just wanted to point that out to you guys, that these are the stats on this mission going into it with this build. This makes it very efficient to farm this, so I hope you guys enjoy what I'm about to show you. And you can already see our damage stacks starting down here with our dodge movements. And this is a pretty heavily dense room to start off here. And you can see our character happens to be pretty quick, pretty mobile. I can get a good group of enemies grouped together and unleash some of this arc and heat damage upon them. Now, be careful of letting range sort of form a firing line, because they are effective. And you can see here quickly how when a bunch of them start to add up and stack up, it becomes quite effective and quite detrimental to survivability. So staying mobile is important unless you have your temporal distortion field up. Having that up will give you some very good damage range reduction, as well as it slows any incoming range, let's call them missiles, and allowing you to dodge them on your own and not have to wait for dodge stats. Also, be sure to try and proc your digital weapons when you do have to stand still. That way you're not standing still for very long. We'll switch over here to our null rods for this psyker, just to make sure we have enough damage done there. And you can see that doing the AoE Shock Nova attack is actually very effective, even when fighting small groups of enemies to big full groups of enemies where you're surrounded. And the same can be said for the Thunder Slide as well. Thunder Slide is also very good for getting some mobility, maybe getting out of a tight situation. But as well, if you want to hop out of a tight situation, you have your Q ability as well. Now I'm going to switch over to null rods here. And I have procced both my inoculator and my digital weapons. Now this gives me the biggest crit chance and strength right here, which is important. When dealing with something like this, this is pretty much like an ambush setup. You've got a couple of Heretic Astartes in here, and then a Chaos Sorcerer as well. So there's some nasty stuff in here, and with the damage suffered, damage dealt, you don't want to get caught slipping. Your Inquisitor will feel it, no matter what build you're playing. Here again, it is going to get a little tricky up here. You see some enemies that spawn some turrets up there. I'm backing out. stack my mobility up and stack my dodge chance. Max my survivability to take out some of these heavier enemies, thin the herd, so to speak, before I go in here and drop another temporal distortion field. Pop in digi-weapons as I do that. You can already see I have another distortion field ready to go, another digi-weapons ready to go. Stack that on another inoculator, and we can say that this channel is cleared. Got some enemies turning into demons and whatnot over here, but you can call that one cleared. Hey guys, if you like the video, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Please leave any feedback down below if you like the build, have any suggestions, want to see something else. And as always, thank you for watching and hanging out with us today. I appreciate any feedback, and you all have a great day.